Welcome everybody back to Boost in Motion, guys, and today we're gonna do a review or driving impression of the VRP speed intakes for my M177 Mercedes C63. But before I get in the video, guys, please check the link below to VRP speed so you can take a look at that catalog with different Mercedes upgrades that you can actually put on your car. Anyway, guys, let's just jump in and let's talk about it. So before I want to do a little bit of housekeeping. If you are new to this channel and you haven't been here before, definitely watch this video, watch a couple of my other videos. I do have a Mercedes C63, but I also do make infiniti content, Q50, Q60s, G37s, that type of content too, because I'm born and bred Nissan Infiniti. But also I jumped into the Mercedes platform because I really do like this Mercedes C63. Anyways, you can check above for my detailed install video and unboxing of the VRP intakes, just in case you guys want to see how they actually look and all the parts and components. All right, we got all that part out. And now let's get down to the driving impressions. My oil temperatures are not all the way up to operating temperatures yet. So once I get there, we'll tap back in and then we'll go. All right, so we're back. Let's put this girl into sport and let's go. Open the window a little bit. Woo. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I can, I definitely hear the intakes so much more. There's a, let's go. It's a public street, so I can't do too much, but ooh, love that beautiful noise. Yes, I just love the induction noise. It kind of brings me back to I know some of you guys that are watching, y'all may not be into like Nissans, but my Maxima days when I had long tube intakes, and it just makes that sucking noise. And I really miss that noise because even another platform I'm in my Infiniti, we don't get that with our those stock air boxes. So it's super dope that we have that with these cars. Let me see if I get around this truck. Now some of you guys are gonna ask, Boost, is the car faster? Well, to be honest with you, it definitely feels faster. I'm keeping it honest, but that's butt dyno. We gotta really see actual real world differences. That guy just ran yo, they just running stop signs over here. Jesus Christ. This is Brooklyn for y'all. This is why there's always accidents. But anyways, based on a lot of other dynos for this platform, this M177 C63 and NOS, they definitely need upgraded intakes. Reason being is the stock OEM system isn't designed for efficiency. It's designed for it to be able to fit under the hood. It's more of a fit. It's designed so it can fit under the hood. So if you compare it to like the E63, GLC, GLE, and/or GTCs, the intake design is actually a little bit more performance based on how it's designed. The OEM system has a big S. Let's say this is the throttle body. This is the inlet of the not the throttle body, the inlet of the turbo. The intake goes like this, big S, then a big turn, comes back to the filter, goes down, and then go back as a big S towards the front of the car. That's terrible for airflow, and there's only a certain amount of CFM that can be sucked in through the turbos with an inefficient system. So they just wanted to design it to be more compact. When you go with any aftermarket, and in this case the VRP speed intakes, this allows you to have most proper efficiency of the turbos, which means quicker spooler time. Quicker spooler time. A lot more CFM is actually getting sucked into the turbos itself, which delivers you better performance. Especially when you're turning the boost up for a lot of the tune guys, you have to go with a larger intake piping. Now there are a couple of other intakes that I see in the market that are slightly smaller or very similar to the OEM size. These are the 3-inch and/or 80mm, correct me if I'm wrong, 80mm intakes. So it's about 3 inches thick. Now, some people ask, is that better to go with the 3-inchers over the, let's say, 65mm? when it comes to in terms of certain amount of boost levels or turbo or compressor speeds that you're aiming for, usually the smaller intakes or smaller piping will be the choking point after a certain amount of performance gain. So there will be very similar performance gain stock and or mildly tuned, but when you guys are going to have, let's say, big turbos or upgraded turbos, you guys need to go with bigger piping just to match it up. It just makes a lot more sense that way. But I think this is still a good benefit of going with these over, let's say, shout out to BMS, Burger Tuning Motorsports. I've allowed much love to them, but they kept with something very similar that can work as an OEM unit with their JB4 system. But compared to someone who wants to be tuned and or have upgraded turbos, it's best that they would go with a system that has larger piping out the hole. I want you guys to hear some of the noise. Let me hold this gear. All right, guys. So let's jump into it. Guys, you're gonna want to ask me, hey Boost, is the intakes hot? Well, let me check. Nope, I'm not doing that, guys. This is aluminum piping. There's a lot of radiant heat under the engine bay. So for you guys will probably ask, well, if it's hot air intakes, why should I get them? I already explained that earlier in the video, but also on top of that, for me to continue to explain why it is hot, I live in stop and go traffic in New York City. Some of you guys, if you live in a highway area, right, you guys are not doing stop and go traffic. Every 300 feet you have a stoplight. But as you cruise, Mercedes designed this engine to be pretty cool. It's pretty drafty. And what I mean by that is, there's a little flap right here. This flap is designed that when you close the hood, the air would actually scoop and run along this and cool down the turbos once you're moving at a certain amount of pace and or speed. Also on top of that, this engine bay actually is a lot cooler as you go, if you're at highway speeds or anything consistently. I would assume above 20-30 miles an hour, so you get some airflow under this engine. But because I live in stop and go traffic, this thing is actually pretty hot. Also on top of that, with any hot air intake, the engine's going to make adjustments because you're not at full wide open throttle. If you guys are into tuning or understand tuning, if you start flooring it, your IATs, because some of you guys who are NA will probably be like, well, your IATs are really hot. As you start going, your IATs actually come down because the turbos will start sucking in the air and you're moving, and just by that, the IATs will start coming down lower and lower. Now, if you keep doing a couple passes, say at a drag strip or a couple of runs on the highway, IATs are going to start getting hotter and hotter. That just naturally happens with almost any car. But when it comes to IATs themselves, don't focus so much on that. When you go into tuning, your tuner knows exactly what to do, and it's been proven that going with aftermarket intakes on your M177 with larger tubing, and I still don't know too much about the larger cone area necessarily, but the larger tubing definitely gives a vast difference in performance when it comes to wheel horsepower and or torque. So shout out to VRP for sponsoring this video. Also on top of that, I don't have the heat shields that also include, they also include heat shields also that actually helps with a lot of the radiant heat that comes off these turbos, because they have this heat shield replacement here, but it's still super hot, so you want to keep a lot of that radiant heat off. Also, I believe they may be developing turbo blankets in the upcoming future. I have to double check, but I believe they might be developing those turbo blankets and heat shields, which are already out, and that should help a lot. A lot of other companies use similar heat shields, so this is something that they try to do within the community, keep those intakes low. So outside of that, guys, you're gonna ask me, Boost, do you like this modification for the car? I actually do. I'm never really a fan of hot air intakes because at the end of the day, on specific type of vehicles I've had in the past, they weren't really beneficial. But on turbo vehicles, when you go with more of these large and or intakes that sit in the engine bay, the difference in IATs or charge air temps as you tune could be negligible. Couple of degrees, 5 to 8 degrees IATs, which is it's still a big difference, but not so much a difference that you will be very afraid to get to jumping over into the performance game going with large intakes. So outside of that, guys, you have good morning, good afternoon, good night. Check out VRP Speed below for the link to their website with all their Mercedes products, and also follow them on social media. Outside of that, guys, you can hit me up at boostinmotion on IG, Facebook, and boostinmotion@gmail.com. Otherwise than that, guys, you have a good day. Thank you everybody for watching. Do appreciate you guys. Love you guys very much. You can also check out the 2 links I posted for some of my other videos. Also, on top of that, if you want to purchase some boostinmotion merch, definitely check the link that I posted also. And finally, if you've been watching all my videos and you enjoy them, please hit the link to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. Thank you.